Song 38. The Story of the Yak Horn. Obeisance to all Gurus. Having helped Saleo, the outstanding yogini, to further her devotion, Jetson Milarepa went towards Balku to welcome his heart-son Vachungpa upon his return from India. On the way there, he stayed at Betse Dyunzon, the land of pleasure, for some time. As Vachungpa was approaching from Gungtang, the Jetson saw in a vision that he was suffering from pride. With this knowledge in mind, he went to welcome Vachungpa. When the father and son met in the centre of the Balku plain, Vachungpa thought, "I have now gone twice to study in India. Hitherto, I have been following my Guru's instructions to serve the Dharma and sentient beings. My Jetson Guru's compassion and grace are indeed great, but I am much more learned in Buddhist philosophy and logic than he. Now he has come to welcome me. I wonder if he will return the obeisance to me when I bow down to him." With this thought in mind, Vachungpa prostrated himself before Milarepa and presented him with the Akaru staff that Dipupa had given him to offer to the Jetson. But Milarepa gave not the slightest sign that he would even consider returning the courtesy. Vachungpa was very displeased. However, he said, "Dear Guru, where did you stay when I was in India? How is your health? How are my Repa brothers? Where shall we go now?" The Jetson thought, "How is it that Vachungpa has become so proud? He must either have been possessed by demons or affected by the evil influence of pagans. No matter what the cause, I must rescue him from this hindrance of pride." So he smiled and answered Vachungpa's questions in this song. I am a yogi who lives on a snow mountain peak. With a healthy body I glorify the mandala of the whole. Cleansed of vanity from the 5 poisons, I am not unhappy. I feel naught but joy. Renouncing all turmoil and fondness for diversion, I reside alone in perfect ease. Forswearing the bustle of this world, joyfully I stay in no man's land. Since I have left embittered family life, I no longer have to earn and save. Since I want no books, I do not intend to be a learned man. I practice virtuous deeds, I feel no shame of heart. Since I have no pride or vanity, I renounce with joy the saliva-splashing debate. Hypocrisy I have not, nor pretension. Happy and natural I live, without forethought or adjustment. Since I want nor fame nor glory, rumours and accusations disappear. Wherever I go I feel happy, whatever I wear I feel joyful. Whatever food I eat I am satisfied, I am always happy. Through Marpa's grace, I, your old father Milarepa, have realized samsara and nirvana. The yoga of joy ever fills my hermitage. Your Repa brothers are well. On hills remote they make progress in their meditations. O my son Vachung Dorje Daupa, have you returned from India? Do you feel tired and weary on the journey? Has your mind been sharpened and refreshed? Has your voice been good for singing? Did you practice and follow your Guru's instructions? Did you secure the teachings that you wanted? Did you obtain all the various instructions? Have you gained much knowledge and much learning? Have you noticed your pride and egotism? Are you altruistic in your thoughts and actions? This is my song of welcoming for you on your return. In reply, Vachungpa sang, Obeying my Guru, I went to India. My journey was hazardous and full of fear. I underwent great pain and toil, but the trip was well worthwhile. I saw Dipupa, the great tantric master, and I met Maggie, the great yogini. Also, I saw the wondrous patron Buddha and witnessed fulfillment of the Dakini's prophecy. I have unmistakably attained the longed-for pith instructions, those of the illuminating wisdom lamp, the wheel net of prana and the nadis, the universal mirror of equality, the lantern of the great bliss injunctions, the true words on the mirror of self-mind, the supreme form of the sunlight realization, and the self-liberation Mahamudra. I drank nectar, the essence of immortality. I received teaching on the bardo, the pith instructions on dhyana practice, on the 5 gems and syllables 3. I was told how to practice the 6 yogas and how to win what I wanted in the world. The mothers and dakinis gathered for me all these wonderful instructions. The deities and gurus were all well pleased, and my mind united well with theirs. Like a rain of flowers, accomplishments fell upon me. Heavenly food was fed into my mouth. the pith instructions of preference in our hands. In farewell the deities wished me good luck. My desires were met and success was won. Like the rising sun, my heart is bright with joy. Now I am back, my Jetsun Guru. Now I give you the Dakini's teachings. Please observe them, praise and serve them, the holy dharmas that have been brought me my achievement. Then Vachungpa gave the books that he had acquired in India to the Jetsun. In order to clear up Vachungpa's pride and arrogance, Milarepa sang, Do not be proud and pompous, my little child Vachungpa, whom I have nurtured from your teens. In a tuneful voice I sing for you, a golden rosary of song with meanings deep. Keep it in your mind if you agree with it. Goddesses cherish the formless Dakini dharmas, but he who strives to become too big is liable to be slain by villains. The hoarded goods of wealthy men provide enjoyment for their enemies. To indulge in luxury and pleasure is the cause of poverty and death. He who does not know his limit and acts above his station is stupid as a fool. If an officer ill-treats his servants, he harms his country. If a servant respects not his master, he will lose his mind and bring misfortune on himself. If a doctrine holder cannot behave, he will destroy the Dharma. He who does not keep the Dakini's teaching secret disturbs and offends them. O my son, your pride in what you learned will lead you well astray. To preach a lot with empty words ruins your good experience and meditation. To be swollen with pride and arrogance proves you have betrayed the Guru's precepts. Nothing gives cause for more regret than disobedience of the Guru. No one is more distracted and confused than he who ceases to meditate in solitude. Nothing is more fruitless than a Buddhist who renounces not his kin. Nothing is more shameful than a learned Buddhist who neglects his meditation. Nothing is more disgraceful than for a monk to violate the rules. My son Vachungpa, if you agree with what I say, you should hold it in your heart. If you disagree, do whatever you please. I am an old man fearing death, and with no time for chat and gossip. You are young and self-conceited. Whoever remonstrates with you, you will condemn him in return. O my gracious Guru Marpa, the translator, pray help me, the poor beggar, who forever abjures all worldly desires. Picking up the books and the Akaru staff, Milarepa ran ahead with great speeds by means of his miraculous powers. Vachungpa could not catch up with him. He ran gasping and panting after his Guru as he sang this song. Oh, please listen to me, my father Jetsun. How could a son ever disrespect his father? I only pray you to accept the teachings I have attained. I was given, beyond any doubt or possible error, the instructions on the formless Dakini Dharmas from the profound and the profoundest doctrines I have gained conviction. I pray you to understand this, my dear Guru. In addition, I also attained the yoga of longevity, the Dakini's symbolic secret words, the principles of the Vajra body, and the instructions of the Mother Buddha. And I now offer them all to you, my Jetsun Guru. Also, I have attained the profound tiger protection, the cures of diseases, and the teaching of dispersing demons. All these golden instructions I now offer to you. Upon my shoulder I have brought back the medicine of 6 merits, and the elixirs of gods and goddesses. Now I offer them to you, my gracious Guru. This marvellous staff made of the supreme Akaru plant was used by Dakinis to rest upon. It is a priceless and wondrous thing, symbolizing the tantric teachings of Dipupa. I now offer it to you, my Jetsun Guru. Please appreciate these wonderful teachings, and have pity on me, the weary Vachungpa. Please commiserate me and give me a chance to stop running and panting. If you would please do so. It would be the best charity. If one can satisfy the hunger and thirst of others, is it not the greatest merit? To console people in distress is the best giving. To serve people with kindness and show them the right path is the obligation of all Dharma followers, as taught by Buddha our Lord. The Jetsun heard Vachungpa singing this song while he was running after him. When the song was finished, the Jetsun stopped. He then sat down on the ground and replied to Vachungpa singing, It is fine that father and son are in harmony. Maintaining harmony with people is a great merit, but the best merit is to keep in harmony with one's father. If one is discordant with all the people he knows, he must be a person ominous and obnoxious. Yet even more ominous is discord between father and son. Good it is to maintain harmony with one's father by right deeds. Good it is to repay one's mother's kindness and bounties. Good it is to act in accord with all. One's wish can be fulfilled if he is on good terms with his brothers. To please one's gurus is to gain his blessings. To be humble is to succeed. A good Buddhist is one who conquers all bad dispositions. Kindness is toleration of slanders. To be modest is to gain fame and popularity. To maintain pure discipline is to do away with pretense and concealment. To live with a sage is to gain improvement. To be indifferent is to stop all gossip. To be good and compassionate is to advance one's bodhi mind. These are the things a wise man should do, but a fool can never distinguish friend from foe. Where the actual practice of the path is concerned, the formless Dakini Dharmas do not mean too much. My relationship with you is much deeper and more important than the tantric staff of Dipupa. Of the accomplished Mother Megi, there is no better disciple than I. If Dakinis to keep their secret teachings from me, to whom will they impart them? In the Golden Mandala I have enjoyed many sacramental festivals. With the patron Buddha Dorje Palmo, I have had much longer acquaintance than you. There is not a land of Dakinis and Barros that is unfamiliar to me. Much more than yourself, I am concerned about the things you are doing. O Wachungpa, do not be proud and go astray. Let us go into the mountains and meditate in solitude. Whereupon the Jetson and Wachungpa set out together on their journey. This is the first chapter of Wachungpa's meeting with the Jetson at Yang-ru. As the Jetson and Wachungpa proceeded along the road, Wachungpa again thought, had this been another guru, I would have had a good reception, and have been most hospitably treated upon my return from India. But my guru lives under such poor conditions himself. Naturally, it would be impossible for me to expect any comforts or pleasures from him. I have been in India and have learned so many of the tantric teachings. A man like me should not practice his devotion as an ascetic, but should practice it with pleasure and enjoyment. With these arrogant and evil ideas in his mind, strong thoughts, full of infidelity towards the Jetson, arose within him. At once Milarepa read Wachungpa's mind. He then pointed to a yak's horn lying along the side of the road, saying, "Pick up this yak horn and bring it with you." Wachungpa thought, sometimes my guru wants nothing, as he always claimed, but at others his hatred is much stronger than that of an old dog, and his greediness is greater than that of an old miser, as the proverb says. After all, what is the use of this torn-out yak horn? He then said to the Jetson, "What good can this piece of waste do us? Leave it alone." The Jetson replied, "To take a small thing like this will not increase one's greediness, and sometimes these discarded things are very useful." Saying this, he picked up the yak horn and carried it himself. When they reached the central part of Balmo Batang Plain, where no hiding place could be found for even a small mouse, the hitherto clear sky suddenly became darkened by gathering clouds. Then a great storm, accompanied by violent hail, arose. In the midst of this onslaught, Wachungpa covered his head, and in such haste and confusion that he completely forgot even to look at his guru. After a while, when the hail began to abate, Wachungpa started to search for Milarepa, but could not find him. For a time he sat upon the ground and waited. Then he seemed to hear the Jetson's voice coming from the yak horn, which had been left beside the road. He walked towards the place and saw it was undoubtedly the same yak horn which the Jetson had taken a few moments before. Wachungpa had tried to pick it up, but it was so heavy that he could not move it even an inch. Then he bent down and looked into it, and saw Milarepa seated comfortably within, with ample room to spare. His body was no smaller, and the horn was no larger than before. Just as the reflection of a large image may be seen in a small mirror, he heard the Jetson sing, "The grace of my guru enters into my body. If one's body remains like a commoner's, he is not a great yogi. Wachungpa, you should pay homage to my miraculous body. The grace of my guru enters into my mouth. If one makes nonsensical remarks, he is not a great yogi. All pith instructions are found in my song. Wachungpa, you should bear them in your heart. The grace of my guru enters into my mind. If any unfaithful thought ever arises in one's mind, he is not a great yogi. Wachungpa, you should pay homage to the power of telepathy. O son Wachungpa, your mind is like a nimble bird. Now it flies high, and now it swoops low. You should observe this unstable change. Stop thinking so much and devote yourself to the Repa's practice. If you think you can match your guru, now you may come into this horn. Come in right now. Here it is spacious and a comfortable house. Wachungpa, your enlightenment is like the sun and moon. Sometimes they shine bright, but sometimes they are darkened by clouds. You should observe this unstable change. Stop thinking so much and devote yourself to the Repa's practice. If you think you can match your guru, you may come into this horn. Come in right now. Here is a spacious and comfortable house. Son Rachungpa, your behaviour is like the mountain wind. Now it blows fast and violent, and now it blows gentle and slow. You should observe this unstable change. Stop thinking so much and devote yourself to the rapper's practice. If you think you can match your guru, you may come into this horn. Come in right now. Here is a spacious and comfortable house. Son Rachungpa, your accomplishments are like the crops in the field. Sometimes they grow badly and sometimes well. You should observe this unstable change. Stop thinking so much and devote yourself to the rapper's practice. If you think you can match your guru, you may come into this horn. Come in right now. Here is a spacious and comfortable house. If one's mind can master the domain of space, he can enter this horn and enjoy it. Come in right now, my son. Your father is calling. It wouldn't be nice if a son refuses to enter his father's house. I am a sick and worn-out old man who has never been in India in all his life. His insignificant body is frightened by the dangerous road outside. Therefore, inside this horn he stays. Son Rachungpa, you are young and have been in India. Also, you have studied under many learned and accomplished gurus. You should now step into this horn. With your splendid and prominent body, of little value is this rotten yak horn. Surely it will not inflate one's egotism and desire. Come in, Rachungpa, come in and join your father inside. Rachungpa thought, there seems to be plenty of room there. Can I also get in? Thinking this, he tried to enter the horn, but he could not even get his hand and head in, let alone his whole body. Then he thought, the Jetson's miraculous power may or may not be genuine, but he can surely produce hail. Putting his mouth close to the horn, Rachungpa sang in a quavering voice. O my father Jetson Guru, please listen to me. Whether the view, practice, action, and accomplishment of your servant and son Rajang Dorjang be high or low, bright or dim, great or small, better or worse, it makes no difference. He shall continue to pray to you. Whether his cotton robe be dry or wet, he shall continue to pray to you. He may or may not match his father, but he shall continue to pray to him. Milarepa came out of the horn. He gestured towards the sky, and at once the storm began to abate. The clouds to disperse and the sun to break through. Immediately the air became very warm, and before long Rachungpa's clothes were dried. After resting a while, the Jetson said, Rachungpa, I knew from the beginning that your trip to India was unnecessary. Being quite satisfied with the teaching of Mahamudra and the 6 yogas, I did not go to India. I am very glad that you have now returned with the teachings that you wanted. Dear Lama, I am very hungry and cold, said Rachungpa. Let us go to the tents over there and beg some food. But this is not the time to beg alms, replied Milarepa. I do not know whether it is the time to beg alms or not, but I know that I am starving to death right now. By all means let us go. Very well, we shall go. I think perhaps it would be better to go to the first tent. But in begging alms one must not look only for rich people and neglect the poor, said Rachungpa. Therefore let us go to that small brownish tent near the lower end of the terrace. So they went towards the small tent. When they reached its entrance to ask for the host for alms, a fearful old woman came out and said, a yogi should stick to poverty all the time. Good yogis always refuse our offerings, even when brought to them. But greedy people like you, never content with what they already have, always come after others' belongings. All the things that I have to spare for charity I already gave to some beggars this morning. Nothing is left now. You had better go somewhere else to beg. Upon hearing these malicious remarks, the Jetson said, the sun is about to set. It makes no difference whether we get food or not this evening, so let us find a place to sleep. That night the Jetson and Rachungpa slept nearby. About midnight they heard a noise in the tent. Then it subsided and all became quiet again. The next morning when the sun arose, the Jetson said to Rachungpa, go over to the tent and take a look inside. Rachungpa did so, and he found nothing left in the tent except the corpse of the old woman who had refused to give them alms the evening before. Rachungpa then informed Milarepa of what he had seen. The Jetson said the food and other things must be hidden somewhere underground, and they went over to the tent together. The fact was that regardless of her malicious talk, the hour had come for the old woman. The land was full of epidemics at the time. They found that her jewellery had all been stolen by the nomads. Left behind on the ground was nothing but a small bag of butter, some cheese and barley flour, and a pail of yogurt. The Jetsons said to Rachungpa, son, all things are like this. Last evening this old woman was full of stinginess and worry, but now she is dead. Oh, in South one should give alms unto those in need. Thereupon Milarepa and Rachungpa prepared a sacramental offering for the dead woman, with all the things that were left. Rachungpa then packed up the remnants of the edible food and was about to carry it away with him, When the Jetson said, "It is not good for one to eat the food of a corpse without benefiting it. The proverb says the old men should eat the food, and the young men should produce it. Now carry the corpse upon your shoulder, and I'll go ahead to lead the way." With misgivings that he might be contaminated by the filth of the corpse, Vachungpa unhappily carried it upon his shoulder, while the Jetson went ahead to guide them on the road. When they reached a marsh, the Jetson said, "Now put the corpse down." He then placed the point of his staff at the heart of the corpse and said, "Vachungpa, like this woman, every sentient being is destined to die, but seldom do people think of this fact, so they lose many opportunities to practice the Dharma. Both you and I should remember this incident and learn a lesson from it." Whereupon he sang the song of transiency and delusion, having 6 parables. Oh, the grace of the Gurus is beyond our comprehension. When the transiency of life strikes deeply into one's heart, his thought and deeds will naturally accord with Dharma. If repeatedly and continuously one thinks about death, he can easily conquer the demon of laziness. No one knows when death will descend upon him, just as this woman last night. Vachungpa, do not be harsh and listen to your Guru. Behold, all manifestations in the outer world are ephemeral like the dream last night. One feels utterly lost in sadness when he thinks of this pardoning dream. Vachungpa, have you completely wakened from this great puzzlement? Oh, the more I think of this, the more I aspire to Buddha and the Dharma. The pleasure-yearning human body is an ungrateful creditor. Whatever good you do to it, it always plants the seeds of pain. This human body is a bag of filth and dirt. Never be proud of it, Vachungpa, and listen to my song. When I look back at my body, I see it as a mirage city. Though I may sustain it for a while, it is doomed to extinction. When I think of this, my heart is filled with grief. Vachungpa, would you not cut off samsara? Oh, the more I think of this, the more I think of Buddha and the Dharma. A vicious person can never attain happiness. Errant thoughts are the cause of all regrets. Bad dispositions are the cause of all miseries. Never be voracious over Vachungpa, but listen to my song. When I look back at my clinging mind, it appears like a short-lived sparrow in the woods, homeless and with nowhere to sleep. When I think of this, my heart is filled with grief. Vachungpa, will you let yourself indulge in ill will? Oh, the more I think of this, the more I aspire to Buddha and the Dharma. Human life is as precarious as a single slim hair of a horse's tail, hanging on the verge of breaking. It may be snuffed out at any time. Like this old woman was last night, do not cling to this life, Vachungpa, but listen to my song. When I observe inwardly my breathings, I see they are transient like the fog. They may vanish any moment into naught. When I think of this, my heart is filled with grief. Vachungpa, do you not want to conquer that insecurity now? Oh, the more I think of this, the more I aspire to Buddha and the Dharma. To be close to wicked kinsmen only causes hatred. The case of this old woman is a very good lesson. Vachungpa, stop your wishful thinking and listen to my song. When I look at friends and consorts, they appear as passers-by in the bazaar. Meeting with them is only temporary, but separation is forever. When I think of this, my heart is filled with grief. Vachungpa, do you not want to cast aside all worldly associations? Oh, the more I think of this, the more I think of Buddha and the Dharma. A rich man seldom enjoys the wealth that he has earned. This is the mockery of karma and samsara. Money and jewels gained through stinginess and toil are like this old woman's bag of food. Do not be covetous, Vachungpa, but listen to my song. When I look at the fortunes of the rich, they appear to be like honey to the bees. Hard work, serving only for others' enjoyment, is the fruit of their labour. When I think of this, my heart is filled with grief. Vachungpa, do you not want to open the treasury within your mind? Oh, the more I think of this, the more I aspire to Buddha and his teachings. The corpse of the old woman was buried in the swamp, and her soul was delivered into the Dhammadhatu. Thereupon the Jetson and Vachungpa took the edible food with them and set out for Betsy Duyanzon. This is the second chapter, the story of the yak horn. Later, while the father Jetson and the son Vachungpa were residing in Betsy, Vachungpa gained great improvement in his meditation. In an experience of great joy, numerous thoughts appeared in his mind. Being aware of this, the Jetson said, "Vachungpa, what have you experienced in your meditation lately?" In relating his experiences, Vachungpa sang, "Living with my Guru, I had an experience powerful like a sharp knife. With it I have cut inner and outer deceptions. Because of this I am happy and gay. In the midst of many manifestations I felt as if I were a radiant lamp. All instructions thus became clearer than ever before. Because of this I am happy and gay. When I sat on the peak of a snow mountain, I felt like a white lioness, predominating and surpassing all others in the world. Because of this, I feel happy and gay. When I dwelt on the hillside of red rock, I felt as if I were a majestic eagle. Forever have I conquered the fearful expanse of the sea. Because of this, I am happy and gay. When I roamed from country to country, I felt as if I were a tiger cub or a bee, non-attached to all and utterly free. Because of this, I am happy and gay. When I mingled with people in the street, I felt as if I were an immaculate lotus, standing above all filth and mud. Because of this, I am happy and gay. When I sat among crowds in the town, it felt as if I were like rolling mercury. It touches all but adheres to naught. Because of this, I feel happy and gay. When I sat among faithful disciples, I felt as if I were the Jetson Miller. With cheer and ease, I gave instructions through songs. It is the blessing of my Guru that brings me this joy. It is through resting one's mind at ease that Buddhahood is realized. The Jetson commented, "If not brought out by pride, these experiences are fine, and you have truly received your Guru's blessings. Towards the experiences, however, one needs certain understandings, in which you still seem to be lacking. Now listen to my song. From the depths of my heart, when the great compassion arose, I felt that all beings in the three realms were enslaved in a prison of fire. When the instructions of the lineage were imbibed in my heart, with the dissolving of salt into water, I experienced thorough absorption. When the wisdom shone bright from within, I felt as if awakened from a great dream. I was awakened from both the main and ensuing samadhis. I was awakened from both yes and no ideas. When one secures the great bliss through viewing, he feels all dharmas spontaneously freed as mists of rain vanish into air. When one comes to the essence of being, the shining wisdom of reality illumines all like the cloudless sky. When both pure and impure thoughts are cleared, as in a silver mirror, the immanent bright wisdom shines forth. When the alaya consciousness dissolves into the Dharmakaya, I feel my body and soul break forth, like the crushing of an egg when stamped upon. When the rope of clinging is cut loose, I feel the existence of Bardo disappear, like the uncoiling of a snake. When I act without taking or leaving, my mind is always at ease and undoing. I feel as if I were a lion, with the power of the three perfections. The illuminating voidness, the illuminating wisdom, and the illuminating manifestations are my three inseparable friends. Like the sun shining from a cloudless sky, I am always in the great illumination. Like dividing the horses from the yaks, the outer world and the senses are clearly distinct from the inner. The string of mind and skandhas is forever cut. Having fully utilized this human form, I have now completed all yoga matters. Vachungpa, do you also have these experiences? O my son, do not be proud and presumptuous." Hearing this song, Vachungpa's mind was straightened out. Then Milarepa said, "Now let us, father and son, go to DC or Lashi, these remote mountains, to meditate." Vachungpa replied, "I am very tired. My physical strength has reached the point of exhaustion. I think it best that I go to a nearby monastery to recover my strength. Otherwise I will not be able to meditate or travel at all." If determination is made from the bottom of one's heart, one can practice his devotion under any circumstances at any time, countered the Jetson. Thereupon he sang a song called the Six Sufficiencies. O son, one's own body suffices as a good temple, for the vital points within are heavenly paradise. One's own mind suffices as the Guru, for all true understanding comes from it. The outer phenomena suffice as one's sutras, for they are all symbols of the liberation path. The food of samadhi is sufficient to sustain one, for the Father Buddhas will come and bless him. The tumor heat suffices for one's clothing. The warm and blissful dress of the dakinis, to cut off all ties, is the best companion. To live alone is to become a friend of deities. To regard all enemies as passers-by on the road is to avoid hatred. The best remedy for all obstacles is to meditate on voidness, for they are all magic-like plays of the mind. This is the right way for you to follow. Against it you will go astray. I am an old man close to death, who has no time for chatting. You are young, vigorous, and healthy, and would not listen to my helpful advice. To talk with honesty and straightforwardness to prideful and greasy persons would be a sheer waste. If you want to meditate, you may come along with me. If you do not, you may do whatever you please. The Jetson was about to set out on his way, where Vachungpa, grasping his clothing in time to stop him and sang this song called the Eight Needs. Though the best temple is one's own body, we need a place for cover and sleep. Without mercy the rain and wind attack all. Because of this we always need a temple. Though the best guru is one's own mind, we need a teacher to illustrate our mind essence. We cannot neglect for a moment to pray to him. Because of this we always need a guru. The outer phenomena may substitute for the sutras. Hindrances and doubts in any case will arise. To clear them up, a lucid reference to the sutras is necessary. Because of this we always need the sutras. Though the food of samadhi may be sufficient, provisions for nourishment are necessary. On food this delusory body must live. Because of this we always need food. Though the best clothing is the tumor heat, something to cover the body is necessary. For who is not afraid of shame and disgrace? Because of this we always need clothing. Though the best thing is to cut off relationships with all, to get support and aid is ever necessary. Good or bad, who has not some friends? Because of this we always need friends. Though to avoid one's enemies is sufficient, sometimes one meets them on the road. For who can be immune from hostility? Because of this we always need protection. Though the best remedy is to view all hindrances as void, for demons and ghosts are malignant and powerful. To conquer the demon of ego is even more difficult. Because of this we always need safeguards. To stay with my guru brings happiness, to return to you brings joy. Wherever you go I will go, but I beseech you by all means to stay in the valley for a short time. Milarepa replied, If you have confidence, to follow my way will be quite sufficient. Otherwise there will always be a need for something. Well, if by all means you are unwilling to go to no man's mountain now, let us go to Bhutto to preach the Dharma. Thereupon the Jetson of a Trungpa went to Bhutto of Red Rock. This is the last chapter of the Yak Horn Song.